Well, this is where the fun begins, huh?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Kathleen Kennedy. So we are fresh off the Mandalorian and Grogu presentation, which was fantastic. How are you feeling going into this weekend?
I have to say I'm feeling relieved to a certain extent because, there's a lot of anticipation that we have to live up to, and I think we certainly felt it in the room.
Oh, absolutely.
People were really excited by what we were presenting.
I cried. Yeah. Let's kick off with the biggest announcements. Actually, I don't know if people watching could see that Ryan Gosling and Sean Levy are behind us on that stage right there. Just announced their movie Star Wars Starfighter, coming out May 2027, correct? Mm-hmm. Ryan is a darling, of course, and I know you've been working on this movie for a while, but what were the conversations with Ryan where you realized this is the guy?
I think, to be honest, Sean started talking about Ryan right from the beginning. When he was developing this, he had Ryan in mind.
I love it. What do you, he's obviously grown up a fan. Like, did you have any conversations with him about being like, this is why he's right for this? What can you say about the movie also?
Very little.
Very little.
But what I will say is that I've known Sean a long time, and I think that he is one of the perfect directors for Star Wars. He has that wonderful sense of humor, fun, loves Star Wars. He's been dying to do this forever. In fact, I talked to him, as he mentioned, in 2022, but I talked to him even before that because he had gotten into Stranger Things. And suddenly, with that success, it kind of took him off the market for a while. So he's been thinking about this story for quite some time and wanting to do something in the Star Wars universe. I think his whole life.
Yeah, he even made references to it in Free Guy, which I was like, are you getting in trouble for that? But hey, worked out.
Yeah, he checked with me.
Oh, good. Sigourney Weaver also. It's such an icon, has worked with so many creatures. I think Grogu's probably the cuter one on the spectrum.
The first time she came on the set and saw Grogu, she just melted. She couldn't contain herself. She just thought it was the cutest creature because she's often worked with really scary creatures.
She has, yeah. And I was nervous who she was playing because I was like, don't come for my little guy, but she seems to be on his side, at least for now, with the rebellion.
Yeah.
What excites you most about this project? I know this was originally we were talking Mandalorian season 4, and now it's turned into this massive film. We saw some amazing behind the scenes photos from it.
We've been working and talking for a long time about where Star Wars is going. And the television streaming space offered us such a great opportunity to explore and experiment with new characters and storytelling. That's where Mandalorian obviously came about. And then post 9 and the sequel movies and finishing what George had created, it's been a huge challenge to figure out just exactly where we go. And I think it's now really gaining momentum. We've got these great filmmakers involved. And we've got a real sense of what the future holds for Star Wars. So.
Could you talk a little more about that? Because I remember, when I was growing up, it was like Han, Luke, Leia. And then we had the prequels, and there was people that followed Rey. And now there's so many different entry points and different characters that people gravitate towards. How do you kind of navigate the balance of, you don't have one particular star,
We don't.
There's so many.
We've never developed this around particular characters. It's a place. It's a galaxy far, far away. So there's endless stories that can be told, and you don't want to get so scattered that there's nothing to follow. At the same time, we don't want to have every little thing connect either. We want to tell good stories, great stories.
Right.
And I think that's why we rely so heavily on strong storytellers and filmmakers to come into this space and have a point of view.
Yeah. You talked about some of the stories that are in development currently, and there's been some in the past that I think have gone away, but how do you balance, I always appreciate the transparency of here's what we're working on, and sometimes they don't work out. There's been a lot of strikes and different reasons, but how do you balance that kind of transparency between what to reveal and what to keep internal?
Yeah, it's difficult. In this, with Star Wars, it's really tough because everybody wants to know things. So rumors get out. And it was funny to hear Sean sort of tee that up with Ryan because there are endless rumors, and some things are factual and some things are not. And really the way we look at it is we just don't respond to any of it. Because at the end of the day, we're only going to talk about the things that we know are real. Yeah. and not really spend time talking about speculation. So that's pretty much how we handle
That's the Beyonce method, I think. That's the Beyonce method. You mentioned the Taika Waititi story, which has had a few false starts for a bit.
It's
but
not even false starts. I mean, Taika's
on Taika time.
He's Taika. Taika's on Taika time. All I can tell you is there's no one like him. And what he's done up to this point is so unique and so great and really funny. And I've just continually said to him, look, when you feel that you're ready and you can really devote the time, we're going to do it.
We'll be waiting.
The great thing is we've brought a wonderful writer in, Tony McNamara, who's done incredible work. He did Poor Things and he did The Great. Wonderful sense of humor, works really well with Taika. And so we'll see. You know, in the development process, you never quite know. You're working on a story and developing a script, and you may have, you know, all the right intentions and you don't get there.
Right.
But I think with Taika, he has such a unique way in which he tells a story that I'm just hoping we get there, because that will be a great Star Wars movie.
Even that graphic got me
Yeah.
super excited. Yeah. You mentioned, figuring out what the route is, and it's kind of such a sandbox to play in, especially when I think Disney Plus came out. There was a lot to work with. And now we're having our first theatrical release since Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
We have Andor Season 2 coming out, which, but it
so
does seem
excited
like the
about
pacing has been a little different. Is that intentional, or can you talk a little about what the rollout looks like?
I don't know if it's been any different. I mean, George was 10 years between, trilogies.
Right. It feels like there was a
So,
lot, and then we
yeah.
were like, where are the movies? We want them back.
I think there was a lot in the television space.
Correct, yeah.
But we weren't going to rush the movie space. So now we're there, and we've been working. Development takes anywhere from 2 to 3 years, and then it ends up taking 2 to 3 years to make these movies.
Right.
Because they're big and complicated, and so it is what it is.
Yeah.
We'll make them when it's ready.
It's been, 13 years that this role has it been?
Yeah.
That's wild. What has been because the role has changed a lot over time. And so what has been your biggest kind of lesson or pat on the back, or how has it changed?
I stepped into this never having really been an executive before. I've always been a filmmaker. And I was very intrigued to have a peek behind the curtain, and I've learned a tremendous amount, which is so great. I mean, to be able to go through your life in a career that I've been so fortunate to have and still keep learning new things, I just feel incredibly fortunate about that. And this job has given me that. It's really been eye-opening to see how complex this is. And since George sold the company and it became part of Disney, and where these movies actually fit within a company this size, and how do they remain unique to Lucasfilm, and how do you preserve that culturally, and how do we hang on to the values and the ideas that George created around this mythology, probably one of the most important mythologies in cinema.
Right.
And that's been something that I have an amazing team of people that work with me that we talk about all the time. There's not a day that goes by that we're not testing the waters and stress testing what it is that George created. So
yeah,
it's been a wonderful experience.
And there's obviously been a lot of talk about your next chapter or steps, and I think you've said your piece about this pretty much, but
I'm not
just
retiring.
to clarify, okay.
I'm not retiring.
Yeah, not going anywhere.
No.
And that's another thing too, is how you protect the transparency of those internal conversations with what you share with the fans who want to know.
I tell the fans the truth.
Yeah, you do. You do. Well, I appreciate you so much, and this has been so wonderful.
Thanks.
And I hope you enjoy your celebration.
It's already been fantastic.
Fantastic.
So, thank you.